He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off at the 38, and they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line. So good starting field position for him here as they come up 1st and 10 at their 38. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 13. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Gibson, and he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. So it's Washington with the football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more 1st down to help salt this one away. And he took the contact as he was throwing it, and the ball drops incomplete.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And they'll let this one go right on the outskirts of the 10. They'll down it at the 11-yard line.
At their own 11-yard line.
The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, you had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. He's going to let it fly. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
We've seen that the deep ball's been a part of their game plan all afternoon, but they've had trouble hooking up on it, unable to successfully find the end zone over the top.
An incomplete pass on 2nd down. It muddles things a little bit here. This is 3rd and 10. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And he's going to be brought down. Back at his own 6-yard line. Off the edge, the sack by Matt Ioannidis. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out. Now a desperate, he's got a man, complete. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they'll get it with just a shade under a minute to go in the game. Off the play fake. Here's Ryan. Wide open receiver complete. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. The Falcons going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds left to go in the game. They go play action now. Ryan. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked down and incomplete. Intended target on that one, Russell Gage. And it's 2nd down.
As a defensive back, you have some weapons at your disposal that we don't often talk about. And you can read the receiver's eyes, you can read his hands, and you know that the arrival of the ball is imminent. And that allows you to make a play on it and oftentimes knock it away.
Again on 2nd and 10, it's Ryan. Looking for the end zone. And this will be caught. Touchdown. So in the final minute here, now a 2-point conversion will tie the game. Okay, game on. Don't go anywhere yet. You got a 1-score game now. Probably going to rely on the onside kick coming up.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a high percentage play, but it's better than not having a chance at all. And that's when you put your leapers and your flyers on one side, get that high hop, and hope that one of the guys can come up with it.
And on the other side, you get that hands team ready.
No doubt about it.
Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number.
Now look at this. this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked up by DeMonte Casey. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line. Well, you just kind of feel for him right now. 4 interceptions, and you can almost see through his face mask. There's a lot going on in between the ears.
There certainly is, and probably way too much, because now he's probably doubting himself a little bit.
And that's caught inside the 30. And yes, he's into the end zone. So they get the late score they needed. And now the extra point can tie this thing up in the final minute. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. And no sweat. He puts it through, and we are tied here in the 4th.
That ties the game at 42-all.
So here comes the kickoff now, all even here in this 4th quarter.
Fair catch made at the 25-yard line. Washington takes over 1st and 10.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. They have a little bit of time here to get in the field goal range. Not much. In a tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. They'll look to throw. Escaping the pressure right. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock. Here's Tressway now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. This is taken at the 18. And we have free football. Overtime. Here we go, my friend.
And the way this game played out, this is exactly how it should end, going to overtime, because neither one got an advantage today.
And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals.
So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
Yeah, as we said, they control their own destiny now. And now here's a carry heading left. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. That's over 40 yards of movement with those last 2 plays.
Well, it certainly appears that the big guys up front have taken charge of the line of scrimmage. 2 really nice plays back-to-back. But on the defensive side of the ball, there shouldn't be any despair. Okay, they've got us a couple of times here. Hang in there, keep your composure, and try and figure it out for the next play.
I don't want to overhype it, but this is a big early season game, especially an overtime win. That can give you a big boost going forward in the season.
It certainly can, and I don't think you're overhyping it, because cliches go out the window when you start to play overtime. And you're right, the winner of this game now, that's an extra boost moving forward. And it actually is an extra hurt for the team that loses, because normally you shake it off, but in this situation, it lingers a little bit longer.
Coming up on a 3rd and 9. Opening drive of overtime as they look to convert. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone.
After what they faced during this game where they've given up a ton of yards downfield, there has to be a measure of revenge right there for the secondary. They've been shredded throughout the game and finally forced an incompletion.
So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. Washington looking for another timeout, and they get it. They'll be left with just one remaining here at OT.
For the field goal, a 49-yard attempt.
And Carlson missed it. Pulled it to the left. And that changes everything here in OT. So an empty possession there. What do you think went wrong, Charles?
Well, it looked like maybe the plant leg might have given way just a little. And when that happens, guys have a tendency to pull through the ball to compensate. And in doing so, sent this one off target.
And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down. Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And down to the 44, 5 yards that time.
Gibson, the ball carrier.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be third down. So nothing there that time, and maybe you need to look to the O-line. They weren't able to create any space.
No, they weren't, and you know as well as I do, as many offensive line coaches we've ever met, I think that'll be addressed loudly when those guys get to the sideline.
And they're usually loud and big. And they'll get him down about 3 yards short of the first. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. They'll be down to just one remaining as we step aside here in overtime.
Fourth down.
So on now is Brandon McManus. He has hit from as far away as 57, but that was in Denver. They spot it on the midfield stripe, so it is a 60-yard attempt here. Now, when you get that ball in OT, that's not the chance you envision, and the long field goal attempt here winds up lacking.
And you don't want to hang too much of this on your kicker, but he's going to leave you in a tough spot as well because you give your opponents excellent field position to start their first drive.
A nice burst there as they'll get about 7 that time on the first down run.
The ball carrier taken down at the 43-yard line. A 7-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 3.
They'll stick to the ground game with Gurley. And he's going to be stopped close to the first down marker at Washington's 12-yard line. It's 34. So on the heels of the run by Todd Gurley, another 1st and 10. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
26.
And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
3rd and 3.
Here comes a 20th carry for Gurley. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. He needed 3. He got 2. Now that'll set up an interesting situation here on 4th and a yard. Okay, so interesting here. A field goal would win this thing, but the kicking team on the sideline, and they're going for it on 4th down. And now before they run this play on 4th and 1, we're going to get a break and a timeout. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. It'll be their 2nd and final timeout, remember, here in overtime. We'll be back. And he got it. The kick is good in overtime. He's able to split the uprights. We were just treated to an absolute dandy in this one. A great finish in overtime with a long field goal. Everybody, including us, on the edge of their seats. Quite a game.
And it's rare that you get a game into overtime that it doesn't turn out to be a dandy, right? That's what we saw here. And just what you were talking about, a long field goal to win it. So definitely not a gimme. So there was tension all the way through until the ball went through the post.
But it did go through the post. Ice water was in his veins. So for Atlanta, they used a favorable early schedule to their advantage as they move to 2-0. And they will hit the road next week for a date with the New England Patriots. Meanwhile, for Washington, they'll drop